All right. Hope you're having a good day. I Let's see how this goes over. I had a dream this week. Woke up Wednesday morning on the 4th, and I was going to do a little talk through it just as a journaling entry. And lately I've been just so busy when I get into work. And when I get here at like 5ish in the morning, it's empty. Nobody's around. And this is like the only time that I have by myself during the day, aside from the vehicle, the truck. But when I try to record things in the truck, I can't keep an eye on the screen. It stops recording for whatever reason. It's noisy because the truck is just not a quiet vehicle, and so I like to do the conversations kind of early, where I haven't had even my first cup of coffee. But so if my brain isn't fully there, sorry. So Wednesday morning, I had woke up though, and I'd had this really weird dream, and it had me thinking along a lot of different lines and a lot of thoughts. So and I was going to do a recording, but just no chance. Just busy, super busy. Next day came, super busy. Couldn't just There hasn't been any chance all week long. So when I did have a chance, I typed it, and I thought, maybe I'll just go ahead and read this. So it's not as off the cuff, so it might be a little more polished because I can type. But here's it. Here's the journal entry. This is basically what I was wanting to record Wednesday morning and didn't get to it. And then there's another one the next day that I may or may not upload. But basically, it's this. Today, I'm required to attend the company's after-work Christmas dinner. Oh wait, it is strictly forbidden to say Christmas or anything Christ-related in this present reality. It's a winter holidays dinner. So just to be clear, this is not a polite invitation. I don't have the option of saying no here. So I'll be with this group until 8 p.m. at best. My typical day starts at 5 a.m., grinding away until 4:30 or 5 p.m., only to embark on an average 2.5 hour daily commute through the dense purgatory of city traffic. The irony is that this commute, this bumper to bumper slog, is the only time I truly have to myself. Oh, so by the way, I'm pondering here. Is this place hell? Or is it purgatory? But is it actually hell? That's basically the theme that I'm running with here. I continue. I said it's funny how what should feel like prison becomes a sanctuary when compared to everything else around me. Last night I had a dream that perfectly encapsulated the absurdity of my existence. My boss, in the dream, my boss was coming to me, or coming at me with this torrent of insane criticisms. In the dream, my task was simply to walk, and that's it, just walk. And yet, I was being criticized in front of a group of my peers for walking wrong. When I questioned her about what exactly I did wrong, after all, I walked just like I was instructed, the criticisms became even more nonsensical, and I woke up in the morning struck by how much this mirrors my actual waking life. My world is a series of baseless criticisms, both at work and at home, that unravel when I peel back their layers and really look at them. We are told, no, actually, we are indoctrinated to accept constructive criticism with grace, as though it's a virtue, a mark of maturity. It's painted as an essential for self improvement. But what if that's the greatest lie? What if this graceful acceptance idea, is just another tool of a hellish system designed to perpetuate the idea that we are never good enough, that we must constantly strive to correct some imagined flaw. Over the years, I've internalized that message far too often. However, I've grown tired of it. When I pause to dissect the criticisms that are leveled against me, I see how absurd they often are. No more logical than my dream critique of walking in the wrong way or just walking wrong. It's about how baseless all these criticisms are. And yet, these criticisms continue to dominate my interactions. It feels like I'm in a perpetual verbal boxing match, dodging manipulation disguised as feedback. The motivations behind these attacks are rarely genuine. They are tactics. They are power plays to gain leverage, to bend me to someone else's will. What's worse, some of these criticisms serve no strategic purpose at all. They're just stupid criticisms from stupid people, so irrational that they even hurt the ones delivering them. But you can't reason with stupidity. You can't argue your way out of insanity. The only options are to accept the blame and eat it, or fight back, creating an even greater lose-lose scenario. For me, for me, these constant criticisms, this manipulative dance of control, this is hell or purgatory, if that feels more palatable. And then there's this idea of the evolution of consciousness. And I say that in quotes, which only seems to deepen my hell. What does that phrase even mean? If you start from the premise that we are eternal, perfect beings before arriving here, does the concept of soul growth even make sense? Spiritualists often conflate awareness and consciousness, suggesting that expanding our awareness is akin to elevating our consciousness. And maybe it is. Maybe it's about waking up to the truths about reality while stuck in these meat suits, trying to make sense of a world that feels designed to confuse us. But there's an age-old, theme in literature, and that theme is that the price of truth, or knowing the truth, is suffering. I see this every day. In my son, he's 15. He has Down syndrome, and he struggles with cognitive tasks most of us take for granted. He can't tie his shoes. He can't write his name. He can't even manage daily hygiene without assistance. His awareness of this world, of this fake matrix construct, is drastically limited. And yet, he's likely the happiest teenager alive. Pure joy radiates from him. He doesn't need much to be content. A mundane toy or an episode of Bluey. Well, he's sitting in a tiny toddler's chair, surrounded by preschoolers at an after-school daycare, is much more than enough for him. His, in quote, peers, the little 4-year-old children at the daycare, adore him, shouting, "Hi, Ben," "Bye, Ben," just as he walks by. He's like their most beloved mascot. And this is just me observing him when I pick him up at the end of the day, the few times that I can get there on time to pick him up. And I'm picking him up from literally this preschool for toddlers, because that's where the bus delivers him, because school lets out like at 3 or whatever, and we work forever. I don't even see what his daily life is at school, but he loves school, so I think it's more or less the same thing. He just, can you imagine being 15 years old and just loving school? I mean, I know there was always a few people in school who loved school at that age, but I absolutely hated it. But he loves it. Life is great. And still, people pity him. They see his condition as a burden, as a disability. But I actually envy him. His limited awareness shields him from the hellish reality that the rest of us grapple with daily. He's not burdened by the constant criticisms or manipulation games. He's free in ways I will never be. And yet, I chose this. 5 years ago, I adopted him, knowing, and his younger brother, Knowing the obligations it would bring, I tethered myself even harder to this reality, knowing I would have to endure corporate hell to provide for him and his younger brother. This is my bed, and I lie in it willingly. The greater awareness I have, the, in quotes, expanded consciousness I've supposedly achieved, has given me the clarity to see this truth. I chose this path. In 2016, I experienced what I can only describe as an awakening. Re- Reality itself began to glitch, revealing cracks in the facade. Impossible changes occurred repeatedly, reaffirming my suspicion that this world is not what it seems. It felt like I was peering behind the curtain of a cosmic Truman show, uncovering a truth that maybe everything here is unreal. And it makes everything feel unreal. And that's why I started the whole reason I started this channel was I thought this is really important and I need to document what's happening around me. But this one conclusion does haunt me. It's this conclusion that this place here might actually be hell or purgatory. Oddly, even with this knowledge, I crave more truth. I know that ignorance is bliss, in quotes. I see it in my son every day. Yet I willingly choose to suffer if it means understanding more. I am Adam, reaching for the fruit of the tree of knowledge, fully aware of the suffering it will bring. So, here I am, piecing together a terrible realization. I chose this. I chose to be here, not just the choices I've made since arriving, but the choice to come here in the first place. Perhaps even before death, I opted to step into this matrix of suffering, trading eternal bliss for the struggle of this experience. Why? Maybe that's the piece of the truth I haven't uncovered yet. I don't know. But I suppose I'll end it here. There's more. There's like the next day. If you like it, I'll continue with the journal. At least I've written it down, so it's there somewhere. But yeah, I guess I'll sign off with that one. Have a great day. God bless.